Hello and welcome to the Entrepreneurial Edge. I'm Chris Bishop. I don't think I've ever had a husband and wife team of entrepreneurs in more than 4 years of doing this show. So this episode is most probably a first. So may we welcome Bongani and Cindy Mabizela. Now they set up Ulwazi Development Projects in 2006. It's a civil engineering consulting firm that appears to be going great guns. It turns over more than $10 million a year and employs nearly 2,000 people. What gave them the idea? How did they build a company so quickly? Well, they're in the studio and I'm sure you all want to know the answers. So starting off with you, Bongani Mabizela. So just briefly, your background as a civil engineer, which is the root of this whole business.
Thank you very much, Chris. My name is Bongani Mabizela. I'm the Group Chief Executive Officer of Ulwazi Group. I just want to mention that because Ulwazi Development Projects is a company within the group, which is Ulwazi Group. Okay? And of course, that's where the dream started from, insofar as the Ulwazi Group company is concerned. But going back to your question as a civil engineer, I trained as a civil engineer. I was fortunate some time ago. I come originally from KwaZulu-Natal, in Durban in particular, and I got a scholarship to study civil engineering with the City Council of Durban at the time. And of course I went through the normal training routine and acquired my diploma and then ultimately my degree. And then I've worked in government, in the public sector, in particular in the local government, up until a certain stage I decided to move up to Pretoria, of course looking for greener pastures. And that was in 1994. And then I joined, Transnet thereafter, and then I went back to local government again. And the last employment was at the city of Tshwane, where I was the head of the Roads and Stormwater Department, which is a civil engineering, of course, infrastructure development department.
Okay, and Cindy, you've always been a teacher in the past. That's how you trained.
Yes.
Just tell us a bit about you.
Yes. My name is Cindy Mabizela. I'm the Deputy CEO of Ulwazi Group, and by profession, I'm a teacher, of course. I didn't teach for that long. I taught for like a year. Actually, when I was doing my teaching, I realized it's when I was still in the college, I realized that actually I was not that interested in becoming a teacher. So we all make mistakes, I realized when I was doing my practicals that actually, this is actually not for me. But because I was doing my third year at a time, I was like, okay, let me finish this and get the experience, and then afterwards I'll decide exactly what I want to do with my life. So then I went to teaching, and I was teaching in Mamelodi, and I enjoyed that period of my teaching year, and immediately after that, we decided to start our company.
Okay, and the big question everyone out there will be asking, what was that moment when you thought, well, I can set up a huge multi-million turnover company? Just tell us about that moment.
I think, Chris, for me, it starts way back. There's always been an entrepreneur in me. Even how I used to conduct even my job, let me put it that way, my job where I was working in different spheres of government and of course parastatals. And always in me, there's been a drive. There's been conviction that, I need to set up some kind of business. And it was a matter of time. When is that going to be? And of course, in 2006 late, I had already left government, by the way, with one of the big consulting engineering companies as a partner. And that's when I realized, this is burning me inside. I won't rest until my dream has materialized, has come through. And that's when I decided, let me go out. And of course, it takes some determination, it takes some guts. You're leaving a comfortable job, you're going to an unknown territory, but I had conviction in me that indeed, this is going to work.
So Cindy, what did you think as a wife when your husband comes home and says, well, I'm giving up my job, I'm going to take a huge risk? What did you think?
It was a bit scary. But the way I know him, I know he's a very focused somebody. So I knew that he's going to make it. I had hope, and I knew the kind of a person he is, that he's going to make it, definitely.
So Bongani, day one, take us there. I mean, Monday morning you woke up, suddenly your own boss. I assume you didn't have much work at the time.
Indeed.
How small did you start?
In fact, when we started, let me tell you, we firstly tried to set up an office at home. right? And we realized actually this was not going to work for a simple reason. Excuse me. When clients, wants to visit your office and you're bringing them into your house, there's, you know what you're doing, but the environment is not ideally suitable for what you're doing, okay? Then, of course, one had to look for, first of all, an office accommodation. And we found a space, and we secured a space. Luckily, coming from my past, employment, I had cashed in on my, benefits. So I used that partly as part of the setting up and starting up. And of course, there's something to fall back on, whilst I'm trying to secure new deals and new projects and new work for our company. When we started, we only had 3 people. That was myself, Cindy, and the lady that we employed as a jack of all trades, basically office assistant, And all of us, basically, we were jack of all trades. We ran around a lot, all of us.
So those days, you ran around a lot as well, Cindy. Even though you were still
Yes,
teaching at that point, I assume.
No.
You'd gone.
I was gone already.
So you were running around as well?
I stopped completely, and then because I was supposed to be full-time in the office as well. So I had to start teaching myself how to do pay slips, how to do this, how to market the company. That's how we started.
And you must have some great stories from those days.
Yes, it's a lot that I can say about the start. When we started, on certain things, you know what, I'm not a marketer as such, I'm more into admin. So I was mostly in the office doing admin, that small admin, so I was in charge of that, and Bongani was busy out there marketing the company.
So how difficult was it, Bongani, to kick off? I mean, you've got to go and convince people. You don't really have a track record as a company. I know you've been doing it for years.
Yes.
How difficult did you find that job in the early days? Because I know that's one thing that destroys a lot of entrepreneurs, that people don't trust them sometimes.
Indeed, it's true. I mean, it's very difficult, especially in the beginning, because you're trying to sell a vision. You're trying to sell yourself. You're trying to sell an idea to somebody that doesn't know you at all, and nothing to back you up insofar as experience and where have you done it before in that particular area, okay, where you are at that moment. Now that is difficult. So basically you're going to them and asking them, give me an opportunity to do 1, 2, 3. But actually I have never done it. This is a new entity altogether. However, backing me up, this is me. This is who I am. This is where I come from, Of course, your qualifications, where you've worked before, and what experience you possess, that to a certain extent gives certain prospective clients an idea of, okay, he knows what he's doing, he can be given a chance, And some, of course, they will give you a chance, some, they will just shut the door at you, and you keep trying. It's a matter of, tenacity, resilient. You continue, keep trying until those doors get open for you.
But meanwhile, back at the office, Cindy, there must have been times when you logged on to the bank account and thought, there's nothing there, or there's not enough.
Yeah,
what was it like?
no, there were those scary moments where I'm like, what if this doesn't work? What are we going to do? But we had other options that, we are qualified, both of us. So if really things, don't really work out, we'll have to go back to our careers. But that was not an option because we were really focused and determined to make sure that this succeeds.
Well, let's take it right from the beginning, Bongani. How many years do you think it was before you, as an entrepreneur, thought, okay, I'm there, I'm making it now, I think I've got over the fence? How many years do you think it was?
To be honest with you, I will say that there are different phases of the first 2 years, which was quite a difficult 2 years, all right? But of that 2 years that we started late in 2006, we started actually in September 2006. We are actually 7 years exactly. This is our 8th year as a company. And the first 6 months was the most difficult. You don't have anything coming your way. And the first contract that we landed just after that 6 months, or during that 6 months, was a security contract, because security is part of our business, and in fact is the biggest currently in the company, was to employ about 6 officials. And that's when we said, thank God, we just made a breakthrough. This is our first contract, and now this is going to set us up for big things, and we just have to do what is right on it, and that's it. And then thereafter, the next year, I can tell you, we made sure, and with the aggressive sales and marketing that I employed to make sure that we get into the eyes and the faces of the people that were prospective business, partners for our company. We made sure that for whatever that we got, that we made money out of, we made sure that we plowed it back to the company and we marketed our company aggressively. And I can tell you it paid off big time.
Well, during this time, Cindy, I've got to ask you the question. We always usually ask the difficult questions.
Yes.
It must have been difficult working together as husband and wife. You were obviously in each other's pockets 24 hours a day. There must be problems sometimes. I know everyone says you can trust your wife, you can trust your husband. Must have been difficult times as well, though.
Yeah, fortunately for us, myself and Bongani, we decided that before we even start, we prayed about it, that God, please help us to separate the two. Because we can't take our baggage from work and bring it home to our kids. So we'll try our level best to separate the two. So I think God did indeed assist us, because even now, we don't talk about work when we're at home. So we always try to avoid that subject. Fortunately, our kids are grown up, so they really make sure we give them attention. So they are not even interested to know what's going on at work. So we always avoid talking about work at home. But yeah, it was a bit of a challenge, And people didn't understand at times. They felt, dealing with a couple, it's not gonna work, But until we proved ourselves that actually, no, we can separate things,
And now 2013, almost 2014, you're forging ahead and winning awards.
Yes.
So what did you feel at that moment? Recently you've won an award here in Johannesburg. That moment when you were up there on stage and the lights and the applause, how did it come back to you about how far you'd come in a very short time?
I was deeply humbled, I must say, and I can only say thank God Almighty, for being with us through this journey. And of course, the support that I received from Cindy and the whole team of Ulwazi Group, the men and women that are professional, that have embraced the vision that we have, and of course, that have committed themselves to make sure that it is a success. I think we were greatly humbled. One thing that, of course, for me was very important was being appreciated and being recognized for the good work and the effort that you're putting in what you're doing. But also not only as a businessman, having created jobs, which currently is very scarce in our country with, the current crisis of poverty alleviation and job creation. We are contributing as a company. We're looking at currently, we're sitting at more than 2,000 employees in the company. If you equate that to a black family, let's say of 6, you can work out the numbers yourself already. About 12,000 indirectly or directly families are affected insofar as this company is concerned. Okay,
Bongani Mabizela, Cindy Mabizela, thank you very much. And Ulwazi Group for telling us your entrepreneurial story that gave you the edge. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for. That's the end of this edition of the Entrepreneurial Edge. Until next time, from me, Chris Bishop, it's goodbye.